It's crazy to think that we only have 2 episodes of Violet Evergarden left, but it is kind of amazing too because you usually, if you're only getting a one-cour series, will get 12 and maybe 13 episodes, so it's still nice that we still have 2 episodes left, but it is a little sad that the series is drawing to a close. But I have to say, 12 episodes in, and the show is still maintaining a very solid pace. I will say that this episode is one of the ones that didn't wow me as much as the others, but that's mainly because most of what this episode had to present to the viewer was stuff we've seen in past episodes, but it doesn't make it any less enjoyable. This was a thoroughly enjoyable episode that ended within a few minutes. At least that's how long it felt watching this episode, because every time I watch an episode of Violet Evergarden, I start the episode and then I'm just confused on why the episode's already over, and that says something about how they direct these episodes, because it honestly feels like only minutes go by, when in actuality it's 24 minutes. And this episode was really cool for one major reason, the fact that they brought back Gilbert's brother again, but they really put him as a focus character, because more or less, this is the episode setting up the peace treaty, pretty much putting an end to this war once and for all, saving countless lives. But of course, there's still that faction that think the war is continuing to go on, that more or less puts some of the dolls as well as Gilbert's brother in danger because the rebels are coming after him. And I like the idea that Gilbert's brother, we know Gilbert's brother hates Violet for everything that she did, but I really like going into his mentality in this episode and really seeing why he feels the way he does, because we've seen through the backstories that no one looked at Violet as a human. The only one who ever did was Gilbert. So having his brother put all this trust into this girl who is nothing but a cold, ruthless killer at the time, and then that cold, ruthless killer couldn't even save him, the thing that she was supposed to do, of course you can really understand from his perspective why he hates Violet absolutely as much as he does. But I think it wasn't until that very end scene before the episode wraps up, where Violet deflects a grenade that was being launched towards them, the fact that she was willing to risk her life for him, I think that's going to open his eyes into maybe why Gilbert saw more into her than everyone else did. And I like the idea of really kind of seeing that. It really makes us, the viewer, once again think, like, is Violet going to go back to her old ways? Is she going to kill soldiers? Like, why is she so bound and bent on getting orders? But I love the idea that she refuses to kill in this episode again, but also, you know, I don't just live for orders. She's here to protect her friends and ultimately make sure that this peace treaty goes through. And I absolutely love just how different Violet is compared to those early episodes where she was just begging for orders, begging for Gilbert to be returned. This is something that she's acting on her own, and the only order that she's following from Gilbert is to live and to stop killing, and that's not really an order you can really look at as a soldier's order. It's more or less just a way to live, and I love how this episode was directed because you really get to see a lot into this brother's mentality, and I think the brother's mentality is one of the most interesting aspects to the show because at first glance he just seems like this dick of a character. There's no reason for him to hate Violet as much as he did, but as these episodes have gone on, after these 12 weeks, we've seen the backstory of Violet and Gilbert. We absolutely understand why he hates her as much as he does, but also you can see that after this episode, it's more than likely he might forgive Violet for what he used to hate her for, but I don't think they're ever going to be best friends or anything like that, but I don't think he's going to have as much resentment for her as long as he lives after this mission, but granted, he could die at this mission as well. But it's nice how they directed this episode, because even though a lot of what it presented to the table was past information and past types of development that we've seen in other episodes, it was nice to really focus on him as a character and Violet's interactions, and once again reestablish that even though she's back into a battle, she's not going back to her old ways, and that's an exceptional piece of character development compared to where she once was, and this was a great episode. I don't have too much more to say past that. I definitely think that the OST is still stellar and is really amplifying those scenes, and I'm just very interested to see where next week's going to go, because after that whole deflecting of the grenade, where ultimately is it going to go? Because I do feel like Gilbert's brother might die in this battle, but at the same time, there's so many ways that they can go with it. I just hope that that peace treaty goes through, and then ultimately, if my theory that Gilbert is still alive is going to play out, which I think will play out in episode 14, the final episode, but we'll have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts. What did you think of this episode? What was your favorite moment? Let me know down in that comment section below, and before you leave, smack that like button, share your support if you need to, and be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.